it just seems to seem as though we keep getting to these points of crisis. Crises are often the catalyst for change. You know, and I think as humanity as in general, I think we can all start to agree, I hope we're starting to agree, that we're coming to a point of crisis. That we're coming into a contact, not with just our own personal mortality, but our mortality as a species. That we as a species may not survive. And that can provide, just like individual mortality can lead to a change of consciousness, because we realize time's run out. There's no more time. So in that no more time, sometimes consciousness can shift. And as humanity, I think we're rapidly approaching that same kind of imperative. Time is running out. And so quite naturally, there's tremendous pressure on humanity, on humanity's consciousness right now. We all feel it, right? This tremendous pressure to evolve, to awaken. You know, because somehow intuitively everyone knows if there's not some rather dramatic shift in consciousness, then this opportunity will be missed. Because there is the personal. I would love this transformation for my children and for all other beings, and you know, for personal. But that's kind of the point I think I was trying to touch on, although not as succinctly as maybe I could have been. That point where that desire or that impulse has to transcend our personal concerns, even the personal concerns for the future of my children. In other words, it has to include maybe that we don't know what's the best thing. Maybe the best thing is that we don't survive as a species. Maybe that, and it's possible. See, because until everything is possible, we're not even actually inquiring into what's true, because we've put limits. I'll only look at what's true if it happens to exist in this little box, right? But if what's true ends up to be, you know, existence is kind of done with humanity. It hasn't worked. It's going to try something else. Like, no, I'm not going to. So to me, to look at what's really true, it has to open up to this thing that's beyond. It includes, of course, it's going to include your personal concerns, wanting to be happy, wanting your family and your children to have a good life and to survive. That's fine. We're never going to just get rid of that. But I think it has to include a much, much bigger context. What's really real? What's really true? Really? And can I even ask the question in such a way that the question itself goes beyond a human concern? Can I ask it from the point of existence rather than from the standpoint of me, or even the standpoint of humanity? Can I ask it from the biggest possible context? I think that's very, very, very important. Because only then are we actually touching into something that has infinite power. And it seems like that's what's necessary. We have to touch into something that has infinite power, infinite transformative power. And we never come into what has infinite transformative power as long as we stay only within the personal domain. So how do we, how does one do that individually is one question. And, of course, a bigger question is how does that happen collectively? And I tell you the truth, I don't have an answer for that. As a teacher, what I've seen is people come with that kind of motivation that's truly transpersonal, that comes from, I would say, comes from existence. They come to me with it, or they don't. They got it or they don't. I can't develop it in them. I can't convince them of it. It's a part of their own maturity. They may not start there, but later they may mature there. But I can't, put it into them. I can talk to them about it, but it's like when you're 10 years old and you say, oh, you look at adults, I'd love to be an adult for a day. What are you going to say to a 10-year-old? Here's how to be an adult for the day. Here's how to, fast forward your consciousness 10 years from now. No, it doesn't work that way. The time will come. Whether it comes quick enough, that's a whole other question. Yes, we are having a difficult time. We've been having a difficult time for a long, 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 long time. Yeah, if we don't realize that sort of, that collective sense of what we really, really are, that we're not separate, you know. We're not even connected. We're more than connected. We're the same. We're the same in expression. We're very unique and we're very different. And there's a beautiful, you know, individualized manifestation of the one. But the whole substance of that, it's all one. It's all the same substance. If we don't realize that, you know, there's no hope. There's no hope. There's no political system that's going to save us. There's no environmental movement that's going to save us. Nothing imposed from the exterior is going to change it. We've been trying that for thousands of years, to impose structure from the outside. You know, here's the political system, here's this system, here's that system. Of course, some are better than others, right? Some are relatively better than others. But ultimately, you know, as the great Christian monk Thomas Merton, he said, you know, any political system is about as good or bad as the people who make it up. You know, and the system will never, it doesn't transcend the people. It doesn't change the people. So it's our consciousness that is the thing that has to change, our perspective. First of all, most of spirituality is a myth and a dream. It belongs firmly to the dream state. 90% of what we call spirituality, to me, actually serves the dream state rather than serves waking up from the dream state. 10% of spirituality might belong to something beyond the dream state, which means spirituality belongs to life, to existence, to the wholeness of existence. So spirituality and life and everything else, it's the same thing. I don't see spirituality as something that's sort of separate from anything. You know, I think that's part of, at least for me, that was part of awakening. As I literally, one of the first things I said to my teacher was, and I thought, you know, I was kind of ready to get, you know, like crucified for it because I didn't know how she'd respond, but I went, it feels like I just woke up from Zen, from spirituality. And she just smiles at me. And she pointed her finger, and she almost never did, and she said, that's the whole point. That didn't mean like I've thrown away Zen or spirituality or my path or anything. It just meant I woke up from my ideas about it that were based in fantasy, that were separated from this life. You know, I think any spirituality that's separated from this existence is a fantasy. And I don't mean just the existence you can see and touch and feel. I mean existence itself, whether it's manifest or unmanifest. You know, there's a collective consciousness of humanity and there's a collective mind structure. And it's very easy to just keep functioning in that mind structure while we think that we're not. Until we've come to see that the whole entire mind structure, personal and collective, it hasn't worked. It's not functional. There's no such thing as a better idea in it that's going to have the answer. First we have to see it has to start to collapse for us. And that's a big thing for a person. That's a huge thing. Not only to get out of your own personal conditioning, but get out of the conditioning of humanity as a whole. And this is what I find, this is where one comes up against fear, because when your consciousness starts to get to that place, what you feel like is you're leaving it all behind, right? I'm leaving the consciousness of humanity, but when you get there, what it feels like is I'm leaving the view that everybody agrees upon, that I've known my whole life, that we all function, I'm leaving that behind. And when you actually get there, you realize, and I'm never going to get back to it, ever. I'll never see the world like 99% of the people see it. I'll never get back. So most people get to that point, they see something beyond, but then there's always a reason why they have to cling to it again. It might be, you know, well, what will happen to my family? A mother, will I still be able to raise my children? I mean, these are great questions. I've been asked these questions. Adya, I'm feeling this thing, but I have a 6-year-old. You see, and there's no guarantee that if I really let go, that I'll be a good mom. Will I be a good mom? They ask. Will I be? Good question, isn't it? And unfortunately, I've seen all the reinsurances I can give them don't really help that much. Ultimately, I just go, how bad do you want to find out? Because I can tell you everything will be fine, but it's not going to help you. You know, so, or I can't let go because humanity is going down this rat hole. We're destroying each other. And if I just sort of wake up out of the whole context, will I be a part of the solution? Will I care anymore? Does that make sense? And the sense is, well, the only answer I can go is, do you want to find out? Maybe anything has to be possible. But if someone really lets go, and then they don't get caught in where they let go into, if that makes, because you can get caught way out there in the middle of nowhere, or you can catch yourself. If you don't stop there, then it's like you come full circle. Like you let go of the world so that you can finally actually be in it. Yeah. But when you get to that point, there's so many good reasons why not to let go. And some of them are personal, and some of them have to do with all of humanity, you know? Because you feel like, I'm leaving humanity behind. How dare I? It's the taboo against fully awakening. It's that taboo of a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. And you kind of have that feeling, well, am I going to care about the butterfly or the caterpillars anymore? I don't mean it, and it's creating a separation that's not valid, but you get the idea. And it's sort of like, you know, leaving your clan.